Google just dropped Gemma 4, and if you care at all about local models, this is one of the more significant releases of the year. Not because any single capability here is brand new to the industry, but because of what this package represents when you put it all together, a fully open, commercially licensed, multimodal model family that you can run on your laptop, your phone, or a Raspberry Pi. That combination is genuinely rare, and it matters a lot more than the benchmark tables would suggest. So actually, Google's Gemma series has been downloaded more than 400 million times since the first generation launched. Developers have built over 100,000 fine-tuned variants of Gemma 3 alone. That's a staggering amount of community traction. But there was one persistent complaint. The previous Gemma license was custom, which was not bad. But it was not the standard Apache 2 that enterprise developers and researchers are used to working with. Google listened to that. And now Gemma 4 ships under a full Apache license. That means you can use it commercially, fork it, modify it, build products on top of it. No special permission required. You just have to give attribution. That alone is a notable change that most of the coverage is skipping over. Now, the open source model space has gotten incredibly crowded, and a big portion of that pressure is coming from Chinese labs. Like DeepSeek R1, which came out earlier this year, showed that you could build a frontier-grade reasoning model and release it openly. Qwen from Alibaba, particularly the 72 billion parameter version, competes comfortably with models twice its size. ByteDance released Seed Coder, Kimi, and GLM models are also available. These models are capable, they're free to use, and some of them are running circles around Western open-source releases in specific domains. Google needed a serious answer, and Gemma 4 is that answer. The 31 billion dense model in the Gemma 4 family currently sits at number 3 on the Arena AI Open Model Leaderboard for text. The 26 billion MOE model sits at number 6. These are not toy models. And this is a massive improvement over Gemma 3, which was a solid fine-tuning base but not a standout performer in head-to-head chat quality tests. Gemma 4 is Google actually trying to top the leaderboard, not just seed the fine-tuning ecosystem. There are 4 models in the family. Let's go through them in order of size and use case. The E2B and E4B are the edge models. The E stands for effective. The E2B activates 2.3 billion parameters at inference. The E4B activates 4.5 billion. Both have 128,000 token context windows, and both are the only models in this family that support text, images, audio, and video. These are the models built for phones, Raspberry Pi boards, NVIDIA Jetson devices, and low-end laptops. Google worked directly with Qualcomm and MediaTek to optimize these. They run completely offline. If you're building something that needs to work without an internet connection on edge hardware, these are your models. The 26 billion MOE model is architecturally interesting. It has 26 billion total parameters, but during any given inference call, only 4 billion of them are actually activated. That gives you fast generation speed and lower memory requirements than a 26 billion dense model, while still giving you the reasoning depth that comes from having trained on many more parameters. It has a 256,000 token context window and handles text and images. No audio or video at this size. The 31 billion dense model is the most capable single model in the family. Dense means every parameter gets used on every inference pass. No routing, no experts, just one big model doing its thing. It also has the 256,000 token context window and handles text and images. This is your best option if raw quality is the priority and you have the VRAM to support it. The unquantized version needs an 80 GB H100, but quantized versions run on consumer GPUs. Now let's talk architecture for a second, because there are 2 things in here worth understanding. The first is per-layer embeddings, which the smaller models use. In a standard transformer, a token gets one embedding vector at the start, and every layer builds on top of it. Per-layer embeddings give each layer its own small conditioning channel for that token, so the model can apply token-specific information at exactly the layer where it becomes useful, rather than trying to pack everything into a single upfront representation. This is part of why the E2B and E4B punch above their weight. The second is the shared KV cache across the last several layers of the model. Instead of computing new key value states at every layer, the deepest layers reuse earlier ones. This reduces memory and compute during inference with very little quality loss, which is critical for on-device use. For images, all four models support them. Gemma 4 introduces a configurable image token budget. If you want to classify an image or do something that doesn't require fine detail, you set a low token budget and the model handles the downsampling itself. If you need OCR on handwritten notes or need to extract information from a dense chart, you push the token budget up. This means you don't need to pre-process images before sending them in. Just set the budget based on the task. The available budget levels are 70, 140, 280, 560, and 120 tokens. For audio, the E2B and E4B support it. The limitation here is a 30-second maximum per clip. That's not a deal breaker, but it's not a Whisper replacement either. Whisper and Parakeet both handle sliding windows across long audio files automatically. With Gemma 4, you'll need to split your audio yourself, ideally using voice activity detection to cut at natural silence points, queue up 30-second or shorter segments, and reassemble the transcript at the end. Also, there is no speaker diarization, no word-level timestamps, and non-speech audio like music was not part of the training data. If all you need is clean speech transcription of short clips, it works well. If you need anything more complex, you still want a dedicated speech model. Video is similar. Again, only the E2B and E4B support it. Maximum clip length is 60 seconds, and the model processes video at 1 frame per second. So a 60-second clip gives you 60 frames. If you need higher temporal resolution for something fast-moving, you're better off extracting frames yourself at whatever rate you need, say 2 or 5 frames per second, and sending them as a sequence of images with a text prompt. That will give you much better results than just dumping a video file at the model. Also, one thing that doesn't get mentioned much, the models were not explicitly post-trained on video, they just understand it because the underlying capabilities are there from image training. In the Hugging Face tests, the E4B handled a live concert video well. The E2B had some hallucination issues on audio content in the video. One more thing on multimodal that will save you debugging time. Put your images, audio, and video before your text in the prompt. The model was designed to receive multimodal content first, then text instructions. If you reverse that order, you will get noticeably worse results, and you'll spend time wondering what went wrong. So how do you actually get these models? On Hugging Face, search the Google/Gemma-4 collection. All 4 models have base checkpoints and instruction-tuned checkpoints. If you prefer Q8 for a better quality-to-size trade-off, pull it directly from Hugging Face. For LLaMA, you can just run LLaMA pull Gemma-4 and you'll get the default quantization. For Apple Silicon users, the MLX community has the models available and they support TurboQuant, which gets you near Baseline accuracy at roughly a quarter the active memory overhead. All Gemma 4 models are thinking models, meaning they generate internal reasoning chains before responding. This gives you better results on complex tasks, but it burns a lot of tokens. On simple questions, some thinking models will generate thousands of tokens of internal reasoning before giving you a 2-sentence answer. Whether that trade-off makes sense for you depends entirely on your use case. If you're doing agentic workflows or multi-step reasoning tasks, thinking is probably worth it. If you're building a chatbot or doing fast classification, you'll want to disable it. So, compared to Qwen, the 31B is roughly competitive with the 72B in chat quality, which is impressive given the size difference. It handles more languages, which beats most comparable models. The MOE approach for the 26B model is similar to what Qwen uses, with the advantage of activating fewer parameters at inference. Against DeepSeek R1, which has become the gold standard for open reasoning models, the 31B is genuinely close in the areas where thinking mode helps. None of this means Gemma 4 wins everywhere. DeepSeek's coding performance is still elite, and Qwen's multilingual ability at large scale is hard to beat. But Gemma 4 is genuinely in the conversation now. Alright, so that's it from the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.